Hello everyone, welcome to Redbus TS channel. In this video, we'll look at the H1B visa 2023 registration lottery results. They just came out a few hours ago. So we'll look at the sample selection notice and we'll look at the overall timeline and common FAQs that most of you had. Right? So this is what we'll cover in this video, the news details and how can you check. We'll look at a sample of that and the timeline and some very common FAQs, right, that many of you have been asking. So firstly, is this news real or fake? This has been something highly debated in our groups, in our community groups, in Telegram or Facebook, right? So there's a lot of discussion on this because, nothing has come out on USA's website. The truth is the news is real. So results are out, but they're not completely out, right? I mean, they keep coming in, they're trickling out. So the biggest source of confusion is there is no official USAS update yet on their web pages. There is no alert. The web page is not updated. So that's why, there is this sense of doubt, right? And it's a Friday night. Most of the attorneys or companies are actually done for the day. So this came out pretty late in the evening, right? But the results are confirmed by many of users in our community, right? And we look at that in a sample notice as well. So here is one example on the portal that how it looks. As you can see, right, next to selected, you see the status is selected here, and also 2023 before that, right? That clearly indicates that it's actually selected. So this is another one shared by another user. So thanks to all our users, right, who actually were very kind enough to share this. So here you can see about 4 of them were selected. So again, like this, many users have actually confirmed. So we actually have an official notice as well. So we'll look at that later in the section. So the news is real, and you can actually log into USCIS portal. You as in the sense your employer or your attorney can log in and see this information. Yeah. So this is definitely real. Now looking at how can you check, right? So this is something many people are not sure if you're a first-time H1B holder. So the key important information is you as an H1B applicant cannot check the result, right? This is very, very important to know. I mean, you cannot really check it. There is no way you can, right? Only your employer or attorney can check the results, and they can only check by visiting the USS registration portal, right? The USS website, yeah. So this is where they would log in and they would actually check. So usually they get like a notification that something has changed on their case, and then they log in, and that's when they see. They really don't get in email the entire notice as such, yeah. Now, there are no other option. Yeah, I mean, many people have been asking, is there anything I can do? There is nothing you can do. Your only option is to work with your employer or attorney on this results. Yeah, so this is final. There is no other route here, right? And another important thing is, when you look at a confirmation notice, right? Or when somebody has submitted the registration notice, they would have, some of you would have printed and they would have shared this submission that would have a beneficiary confirmation number. Yeah, so it starts with the 2023 for this current fiscal year, and it's about overall 16-digit number, and there will be 12 more digits here, right? So you can't really verify this similar to USS petition number. So this number means nothing, yeah. So it means nothing for you as an end user or even for anybody to verify. So this is an internal generated number that is used by USCIS only for lottery, kind of running the lottery and things like that, yeah. So this does not have any significance. So you can't really verify even if you have access to this, yeah. So that's important information. Now that we know that how you can check, let's look at a sample registration notice, right? So this is a real registration selection notice that was, for somebody who applied for H1B 2023 fiscal year, and they were kind enough to share. So thanks to the user, really, really thank you. So this is a community that actually keeps our blog and our, every of these things alive, right? So thanks to the user for sharing. So for privacy, we have actually hidden all the personal information, but let's quickly review this information, right? So firstly, confirmation number, you can see 2023, and then a sequence of 12 numbers, right? And you can see case type as H1BR, that says H1B registration. So this is actually real. And received date is when they actually applied. I mean, the employer submitted. So this is on March 5th for this particular applicant. They actually submitted, and the notice date is 3/26. Yeah. So I mean, some of them has 3/25, some of them at 3/26, depending on the GMT. I mean, some issues with that, right? I mean, some of them I've seen with 3/25, some with 3/26. So don't worry about it. It's just notice date is when the notice was generated. That's what it means. And then here is actually the employer's address, right? And the petitioner actually is the employer, right? So, and the notice type is registration selection. So if you see this I-797 selection, notice of action, in fact, so this is, you see this for many of the other things as well. So, but what you need to look at is the notice type, right? Which is clearly a registration selection notice. And now once you come down, you see that it says the company name. With the employer ID and all of that, right? Blah, blah, blah. And, some other information and, and the persons selection towards FY23, right, for numerical projections. Yeah, so this was selected and the confirmation number is so and so, right. And also what it tells is it actually tells when you can file, which is between which is April 1st and June 30th, which is basically 90 days from the April 1st start date, right. And it also tells it's Texas Service Center for this particular selected applicant. It is Texas Service Center is when they basically are going to where they can actually send the petition, right. And it tells you need to do certain XYZ things, right. And it says this is only valid for FY 2023, and these are the details, right? The company name, and DBA stands for doing business as, right? So the employee number and all of these are all hidden for privacy, but this is all the information you have. So this is like a part of the page 1 of the selection notice. So the second part has some more clauses, right, that you cannot substitute the name here, right. I mean, let's say you put in a person XYZ, then or you can't replace that with another person or transfer the registration. So this is one common question many ask. You can't really transfer H1 registration, yeah, and you have to file it in that way only. And let's say if it's not filed properly, they can reject. And also they say that information provided is correct. If anything is a mismatch or any small issues, then you need to give an explanation, otherwise they'll reject it, right. So are they in some standard clauses? So this has not changed from previous years. The only change is one line. USS will deny or reject the H1B. It had a different, very, very minor language change. I'll put the article in the description, that actually, compares, right, what was the previous text. Other than that, there is a barcode here, which, which cannot, which doesn't mean anything for you at the moment, right. This is for their sake. So, employers, when they file, they will print this out and they will attach this copy. So that's what it tells, right. It says, you must include a copy of the selection notice. Yeah. So this is what, you need to attach and send as a part of the selection notice, right. Now the second thing is the second page. The second page has some other information, but this has nothing to do with the applicant. It's just a general information for people with disabilities. How can they get accommodation, things like that, right? So the standard, notice, nothing other than that. So if you look at overall, there is no difference, in terms of the, format or anything. It's all the same, pretty much similar to last year. Now in terms of timeline, right? So results started coming in just today, which is March 25th. It could be 26th if you're in East Coast, right? But it's what it is, right? So March 25th and late evening. So many might have missed it. So based on past history, you may see these results coming in for the next few days. I mean, it could be 3 days to 5 days anyway, right? So the results deadline is March 31st. So in previous years, we have seen users actually even getting on March 31st late evening. So this is actually the truth. Yeah. So we don't know how the system works, right? But bottom line is they don't come in one shot. They come in, they trickle in slowly, and we have seen people get even after a couple of days as well. So it's not over yet if you haven't heard it until now immediately, right? So wait until March 31st. So if you don't hear anything by end of March 31st, then you're very unlucky. For at least for the first round you have not been selected, unfortunately. So that's the reality, right? So until then you still have hope. Now, some common questions, right? Will there be second round lottery? No one knows, right? I mean, last year we had 3 rounds of lottery. So we don't know this year how it will pan out, how much of fraud is there, how many applications or how many registrations will be filed. So we don't know at this point. Yeah. Second one is, employer is not sharing information, right? I mean, frankly, there's nothing you can do. It's the employer's registration and their petition. So, all you can ask them, and most of them are very reasonable. They'll share, but some IT body shops may not share. So, that's unfortunately a problem that you have to deal with, right? This is something you have to work with your employer. And transfer, you cannot transfer H1 registration. So this is not like a H1B petition. So there is nothing there. So there is nothing you can transfer. So you cannot, even though you don't work for the company, let's say down the line before October, you quit the company, and if they don't file, I mean, it's a complicated, right? You can't really transfer it, as simple as that. Yeah. Is there a hard deadline, right? So the deadline is very, very hard. So you have only exactly 90 days. If you miss it, your option is gone. Basically it goes to somebody else next in the line or in the second round. So you have a hard deadline of 90 days, and this when you have to work with your employer and file it, right? So now how many registrations were filed this year? No one knows yet. So we are yet to hear official information. So in fact, last year also, they did not announce this in the beginning. So we were able to get only this in the second round, right? When we had these numbers come in. So now what's next, right? If you are selected, what's next? Yeah. So you need to file an LCA next. Your company will file, of course, right? And then they will actually create the package for you. And in the next 90 days, they will submit a petition with the fees and everything to USCIS. So we'll put a link in the description on next step, so you can read that article that has a flow chart and everything. In fact, we have a video also on that, right? So you can look at the video on the top. Now, in terms of premium processing, right? So this is something if you want to get results. So if you are lucky and got selected, there is something called premium processing if you want to get results in within 15 days, right? So So this is where in the past they used to cancel it, but as of today, right, as of recording March 25th, there are no changes, right, and the payment processing continue to exist. So this is something many use so that they have a definitive answer, and within a span of time. Yeah. So that's the key information. All right, team. All right, everybody. Thanks you for watching. Do subscribe for regular updates. Hope this was helpful and help you. Good luck if you are still waiting. Thank you.